Lindsay Gensel. I'm the host of Refocus with Lindsay Gensel, which is a podcast collaboration with ADHD Online. And we're kind of going behind the scenes at ADHD Online and having conversations with some of the team members. Shanille is one of them. And from what I understand, you work on a team where you are the only person who doesn't have ADHD.
That's correct. Yep.
And what is that like?
So I would say, just off the top, lots of energy, lots and lots of high energy. But for me, that's what kind of sets our company apart and builds our culture. And there's lots of ideas flying around everywhere. But really kind of me also as a manager, it gives me a good opportunity to kind of harness the power of all of those ideas on my team.
And what part of the company are you working in?
Yeah, so I work in the talent acquisition department. So we oversee all of the recruitment for our providers as well as all of our internal employees as well. And
when you say energy, I mean, you have a lot of energy. So I imagine you take your energy, which is not from ADHD, and you combine that with people who have ADHD. What are some of the challenges you face as a leader, making sure like the train stays on the tracks, but you aren't, suffocating anyone?
Right, 100%. So I think what it is kind of taking the ideas and putting them into the context of where our early stage company is. So while all of these ideas and feedback are great, it's just kind of putting into perspective, is this the right time to implement this idea? Or is this more when we're a farther along company? But like you said, not, taking down the energy on the idea, but keeping the excitement up, but maybe a little bit more down the road.
I am like envisioning every meeting I've ever been in where like I get this idea and it's like, you see like the ball rolling down the hill and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and everyone's just standing there like, no, we're not going there yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's my mind constantly.
It's your mind.
Bringing it in. Yeah.
So what are some of the things you've learned in a leadership position now that you're working with people who do have ADHD? And I mean, in a sense, we do know the ADHD brain functions differently. Mm-hmm. There are so many studies that show the delay in executive function and the high energy you've mentioned. Mm-hmm. So as a leader, what have you learned and how have you adapted?
Yeah, so I would say out of my entire experience with my whole team having ADHD, the positives outweigh the negatives by a lot. My team is the most fast-moving, flexible team that I've ever had, and one that really drives our company. So for me, I see a lot of benefit in that because we're such a small company, and one day we're doing one thing, one day we're doing the next, and my team, doesn't get thrown by that. They're ready to move and groove however we need. So that's one of the biggest things I think that is helpful. And then, like I said, just all of the ideas that they bring in and perspectives that I wouldn't see in a process, or how to, convince a provider that this is the right fit for them. So I think they just bring a different perspective into, the company that we're building today.
And what are some of the ways that you have given them the freedom to work the way that works best for them?
Mm-hmm. So I think, being a manager for a while now, everyone works a little bit differently. And I think the biggest thing that I've also learned, because coming in before this company, I didn't know a lot about ADHD either. And something that I love is ADHD presents differently across everyone too. So with one of my employees, it's, giving them the freedom to really dive into the little bits and pieces of that project, and that excites them and they like that, and they can bring me the final product. Other ones, it's giving the broad strokes, and then I'll help map out all of the details. So just seeing out of my 4 team members and really kind of learning what works best for them is just shocked me, because when I first heard about ADHD, I'm like, oh, it presents the same across everyone, because I didn't really have much of an experience with it. But I think my team and each of the members just shows kind of the spectrum of what ADHD looks like.
And I think it's a great example that shows that when you put in the work to try and understand and you set up an environment for people to thrive,
Right.
great things are possible.
Yes, yes. And a lot of my employees have said to me, Shanille, like, I've been in so many work environments where my ADHD was a bad thing, right? And it was tried to be toned down or worked through. But here I don't feel that way. I feel like we're all accepted, and they bring that perspective to our patients. And I feel like it's just more of an understanding culture. And even though I don't have it, I come in with a mindset of I want to learn more about it because I want you to be happy at work. And I want you to be able to do, your job in the way that works best for you.
Well, and you hired these people for a reason. Like, there's a
Yes.
reason they're at the company, and their talents are needed. And so, as a leader, it only makes sense that you want to give them that opportunity.
Right, 100%. And I have to say, out of all the teams that I've managed, the passion is off the charts. And I think that's because they all started at this company because obviously they were interested in the job we had to offer within the department, but everyone came because they believe in the mission. And they felt like this is a place where they could be themselves and they could help drive true change. So that, might be the reason why there's so many ideas all the time, and we have to kind of, rein it in and put it to more of a business schedule, if you will. But at the end of the day, I think that's what really matters and kind of sets our company apart is everyone here is here because they believe in it and they're very passionate about what we do.
Well, I know that I speak for every person with ADHD who has worked in an environment where they didn't feel supported. And I just wanted to say thank you because it's very clear that you're not only passionate about what you're doing, but you're passionate about the people that you're leading. And I think, I can think back to some pretty not great scenarios where I did not have that environment created for me. So thank you for that. And thank you for joining us.
Of course. My pleasure.
You can hear all of the conversations that we've had with the team members at ADHD Online, as well as check out all of the webinars, the blog posts, and then the podcast, Refocus with Lindsay Gensel, by heading to ADHDonline.com.